So the last step with inequalities is when we have those inequalities when the variable is on both sides of the inequality. So not only will I have the variable on the left side of that inequality sign, I'm also going to have it on the right. So my steps to solve this is we have to get those variable parts together on one side, and then we can just solve like a normal inequality. So I'm going to draw my line down through that inequality sign. And in the last lesson, the x's were on the same side. So we could just combine them and put them together. Well, now I have an x on the right side of my line, and I also have an x on the left side. So I'm not allowed to just put them together. So now I have to actually get rid of one of them. It doesn't matter which one you get rid of, but just remember, one of the ways is going to get you a negative, the other way is going to get you a positive. If I minus 8 from both sides, the 8x, 2 minus 8 is going to get me negative 6. I don't want to deal with negatives, especially with inequalities with flipping the sign. So I always choose to get rid of the one that's smaller. So here I have 8x's, and over here I have 2x's. Well, 2 is smaller than 8, so I'd rather get rid of 2x's. If I have a positive 2x, to cancel it out completely, I have to subtract 2x. But if I do that on the right side, draw a line straight across, I have to do the same thing on the left side. Now remember that 2x can't combine with the 5, so I'm not going to put it under the 5, I'm going to put it under the 8x. So if I had 8x's, but now I'm taking 2 of them away, I'm just left with 6 of the x's. But then I still have a plus 5 is less than or equal to. If I had 2x's and I take 2x's away, it makes 0. So I'm just left with a positive 29. Well, now I can just solve it like a normal problem. 6 and x are best friends, so they're going to stay together. So I have to get rid of a positive 5. To get rid of a positive 5, I have to subtract 5. And remember, what I do to one side, I have to do the same thing to the other. So 29 minus 5 is 24. Since my best friend is positive, my sign is just going to stay the same, so I don't have to worry about any of that. But now if x is multiplying with a 6, to get rid of multiply, I have to divide. So on the left side, 6 divided by 6 is 1, so I'm left with my 1x, is less than or equal to, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. So for my graph, I need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X is less than or equal to 4. So since it can equal, 4 is a part of my answer. It's included. I color in that circle. And if x is less than 4, numbers get smaller. They're getting less as I go to the left. So now on number 2, this one gets a little more complicated. This is kind of like the biggest problem out of all of them. It's putting everything together that we've already done. Right here I have a 6x and a 3x that are on the same side. Remember, if they're on the same side, they're allowed to just combine together. So if I have 6x's and I take 3x's away, I just have 3x's. And I still have plus 3 is greater than or equal to, and on the right side I have a 2x and a plus 8. But now I have x's on opposite sides. So when they're on the same side, I can just put them together. But remember, when they're on different sides, I have to get rid of one of them. Well, I have a 3x over here and a 2x over here. Remember, if we don't want to deal with negatives, we always want to get rid of the one that's smaller. So since 3 is bigger than 2, I'm going to get rid of that 2x. To get rid of a positive 2x, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Line up our like terms. If I have 3x's and I take 2x's away, I'm left with 1x. And I still have a plus 3 is greater than or equal to. The 2x minus 2x makes 0, so I'm just left with a positive 8. So now I have just a basic normal inequality. So I just need to solve. Well, since my variable has a positive best friend, I'm not going to have to flip my sign. So I'm just going to leave it the same throughout the whole problem. To get rid of a plus 3, I have to subtract 3 on both sides. And remember, 1 times x, it's just the same thing as having x is greater than or equal to, and 8 minus 3 is 5. Since x is completely by itself now, that would be my solution. X is greater than or equal to 5. So on my number line, I need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 is the number that's in my solution, so I need to put a circle. And since x can equal 5, remember that means we color in that circle. It means 5 is included. And it's also x is greater than 5. Well, numbers get bigger than 5 or greater as we go to the right. So anytime we have inequalities, all we have to do is get rid of the parentheses if we have them, combine the like terms. When the variables are on different sides of the inequality sign, we have to make sure we use the inverse operation to get them together on one side. Then it's just like solving any other inequality.